everyone, I'm Caroline and today I'm going to use curtain rings to make some gorgeous Christmas decorations. If you've got some curtain rings hanging around, you don't know what to do with them, if you see a pile in a thrift store or a charity shop going really cheap, snap them up because it's amazing what you can make with them. Right, no time for chatting, let's get on with crafting. This curtain ring craft, I'm going to use some bells. Love a jingle bell. Some of this which I got off a pack of tags, some curtain rings, and the top of one of my old boots. Glitter everywhere. First thing I need to do is some cutting. I'm going to try to get a nice wide strip of this, the longest I can. The bottoms of these boots fell apart, but I thought, well, there's nothing wrong with the tops. I'm keeping those. Use my pokey thing to scratch a line. Leather isn't easy to cut. And persevere and you'll get through it in the end. Now I'm also going to salvage this little bit of leather that was around the ankle. There. And then these will live to see another day. I don't think that's the straightest bit of cutting I've ever done in my life. I'll trim the bottom off flat and then round the corners. If your hands are already killing you at this point, then don't worry about rounding the corners. I just thought it would look a little bit more finished. So the next thing to do is to get something. You can use wire or whatever. I just think this is pretty and I'm hoping it's going to work. I'm going to tie a bell onto the bottom of each curtain ring. I think I can fit 4 on. We'll try in a minute and see. I may only be able to fit 3 on. I recommend you don't use the fine, meshy, silvery stuff that they give you to tie on your Christmas tags because I used it and they keep undoing. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. I'd rather not because I'm very messy with my hot glue, but otherwise they're going to keep falling off. So if you've got something else, use something else. So I've worked out I'm only going to be able to fit 3 on. I think 3 will be plenty. So I've got this bit of boot as well. It was like a stirrup around the bottom of the boot it was. So I got this and I'm going to use this as a hanger. I can take that bit off. And then this bit is going to get glued to the back. Which isn't the prettiest, but it doesn't matter because it's only the back. And if you're going to be using this to sell, then you'll need to finish off up here with a bit of ribbon and clean all the glitter off because everything here is covered in glitter. You know, I've been making glitter ornaments and I'm never going to clean it all up properly. Now I get my other strip of leather, pop a little bit of hot glue on, glue it in there. Get my first curtain ring, poke it through. Put it up as high as it'll go there. And then lift up underneath and pop some hot glue there to glue that in place so the bell doesn't keep dropping down. The actual curtain ring is still pretty free moving. Same thing with the next one. And then the same with the last one. And this next bit is optional. I just think it'll finish it a bit nicer. I'm going to make it look more like it is belted so that it would fit on a reindeer harness. So I'm using this as a crocodile big bite. I'm just going to put a few holes in. This is pretty good. It'll make a hole in anything. Well, not anything, but I made holes in tin cans. And this is quite a thick leather. And in they go. And if you look, that really does give it that aged old look, like it's been used on reindeer for years and years. Now this one keeps slipping down, so I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue higher on the little bit of leather. It'll stop it slipping so much. Now I'm going to make a little neat bow using this beautiful ribbon. Which way up is it? That way, like that. This red should really feel as festive, and you've got the reindeers on it too. It looks like the sort of thing a reindeer would choose to wear. I've got this red pipe cleaner As you know, if you watch my haul videos, I've got a lot of pipe cleaners now. If you don't watch my haul videos normally, why not pop over and check them out? They're out every Tuesday, and I show you the bits and pieces I pick up in thrift stores, charity shops, reduced in normal shops, pound store, Poundland, which is a bit like Dollar Tree. Snip that off. And give you ideas of what you can do with these obscure things you pick up at bargain prices. Snip that off roughly, and let's have a look how that's looking. Yes, perfect size. I'm just going to dovetail the ends, fold it in half, and then cut from the edge to the middle. You've got yourself a nice even sized dovetail. Glue that into place. Just hide the join there. Just add a little bit more festive cheer too. And then we need something to go on the front. I got this, it's out of a pack of toppers. I got these very, very cheap in Hobbycraft last year after Christmas. And that is perfect. I never trust the little sticky pads. It's different if you're putting them on paper, but if you're putting them on anything else, take the sticky pad off and add some hot glue. I'll put the hot glue where I want him to be. Pop him on. Now, there is no doubt at all what this rain or jingle bell holster is for. It's for reindeer. And then let's see what this looks like up on my display. This curtain ring craft, I've got a couple of curtain rings and I've got 2 pieces of cardboard. They're about 5.5 inches diameter on the outside, and then I cut a 2-inch diameter hole on the inside. This hasn't got to be terribly accurate, so we're going to make a bauble using this tulle lace that I got. Picked this up in a thrift store for £1. I'm just going to wrap it first. I like to double my tulle, and then did I mention I got 2 of these? And then round and around till you get plenty on there, because you want this to be a nice full pom-pom. I ain't going for that much, which you may want more or less depending on what size and floofiness of pom-pom you want. I'm just going to pin that end into place a second while I get myself a pipe cleaner. And now I'm going to put my fingers in the middle there and then get between the 2 pieces of card like that. Pop your scissors in and then cut all the way around, making sure that all these bits don't ping off through the middle bit and land on the floor. That's why your fingers are in the hole. You can get pom-pom makers. I've always used cardboard, so I keep doing it this way. It's probably much easier with a pom-pom maker. I'd have thought so. They couldn't sell them if it wasn't easier. Everybody'd still be using cardboard. But cardboard is free. Now pop your pipe cleaner through the middle of your cardboard there, between the 2 pieces. Bring it round till it meets. Taking your life in your hands, very carefully take your fingers out of the middle and then cross over your piece of pipe cleaner inside and give it a tug. And now you can gently ease off your pieces of cardboard. And if you've made it a little bit too tight, then you can always just cut your cardboard off and then make yourself new ones next time you need them. And now I didn't tie a knot or anything. As you can see, it was just folded over, so now I can really pull it tight. Tight as I can, and then give it a good twist. And we're going to trim it because you can see all the excess bits from where I joined the pieces together. And you may find that some bits are a little bit irregular, so chop them as well. You can do what you wanted to do. Whoops, don't forget to take your pin out. You may find this is a bit excessive for your design. I've got this one here. You might decide you want to do it with a smaller one. Depends whether you want a very large Christmas decoration or a medium size. Now go to the middle where your pipe cleaner is. Add on your curtain ring and twist the pipe cleaner again. It's safe now to chop it off. Unless you want to add something else, you may decide you want to hang an embellishment at that area. So you may decide to leave them on until you've finished. You can chop them off later and then you're not going to accidentally remove something you didn't want to. And so there we got the beginnings of an angel. The next thing to do is to put her halo on. And to do that, I'm going to attach it to the back of this curtain ring, which isn't easy. Although it'd be easier on the metal, I think the metal is so cold that it's going to set before it even gets onto the wood. So I'm going to hold that in place above the curtain hanger. Check it's in the right place because you may want to alter it. I've decided I'm going to alter it. And put the glue just a little bit higher on the hoop. And then bring the halo forward a bit. Like that. Then hold it into place. Now lay that down gently, and while that's there, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. I got some different things to show you. This is a serviette, and it's just florals. I've cut off 2 of the florals. It opens up into 4, so I've got 2 of them here. Folding them in half like that. One that side, and one that side. And I've got myself some wings, or I can use doilies. So let's see which looks best. If I attach doilies there, she's going to look like that. And if I attach these serviettes or napkins, then she's going to look like, that. So which one would you use? I'm really not sure which one I prefer. The serviettes are getting very easily damaged, so I think I'm going to go with the doilies just because they're going to have a little bit more longevity. So I'm folding them in half and then they'll open up, and I think that looks more effective. And using some hot glue on the back, I'm going to attach them at the back like that. Bring it out at an angle so it looks like a wing. And then when that's cool, stick the other one on. Make sure you stick it up the right way. It is so easy though. You think, oh, obviously I'm going to stick it the right way. But then sometimes you're not concentrating. I've done the most ridiculous things by not concentrating. Like there, I almost went to put it on that way, which is the wrong way. We need it that way. And don't worry if they wander off from where you want to put them, because we're going to put a little bit of glue on the curtain ring then, just to make sure they stay where I want them to be. But make sure the basis of your gluing has got them at the right angle, if you see what I mean. Otherwise you'll be forcing them and they could crease or kink. There we go. Now a little, turn her over, a little tiny bit of hot glue there. Put that wing where I want it to be. And then this one, I want it to be on this side. Turn it over quickly before the glue dries, just to be sure. Yep. And now all we need to do is add a hanger. When the hanger's on, you can now floof up her dress. And if you're worried that's going to show, which I am a little bit because it's quite a dark colour on the pipe cleaner, I'm going to glue some of the dress up over there and it'll stay where I want it to be. Like that. And I think that is absolutely gorgeous. It's oversized, yes. So if you're looking for smaller baubles, don't forget you can do the same thing with this little one. It looks just as cute. But I love that. I think she looks amazing. I can't wait to see what she looks like hanging up. Let's go check. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe because we've got lots more great videos coming up. And if you're enjoying the video, then please give me a thumbs up. Right, back to crafting. For this curtain ring craft, I'm going to start with 5 curtain rings. We're going to make a handle holder. First thing we need to do is to glue these curtain rings together. If there are little hooks on your curtain rings, take them off. And if you're very, very conscientious, you could fill in those holes and top them up with some paint. You can also use any colour you like for this. You can use the brown ones and have a brown candlestick, metal ones and have a metal one. And you've even got the option to paint them. You know me, I try not to paint because it's such a slow process. And I'm always rushing to get videos out because I'm so busy. So you get the unpainted version 9 times out of 10 with me. It's difficult to get these curtain rings lined up. You think, oh, that looks easy enough. It can be a little bit difficult. Make sure they're nicely firmly squeezed together, and already you've got yourself a nice little candle holder if you didn't want to do anything else. We'll set this to one side. We'll get on with the next bit, which involves the little tea light. And I've got myself some petals. Cut yourself out a petal shape, one you like. They don't have to be this shape, they can be any shape you fancy. And then I'm folding them in half and rolling them up. And then fold the bottom bit again. So you've got that sort of shape. Put a little blob of hot glue in there like that. Squeeze it closed. Put a little clip on it, or a peg. Peg will do just as well. And do that with each one of these petals. Fold in half, and you can see they're not even exactly half. I thought, oh well, I'll try cutting them a little bit asymmetrical so they look a little bit more natural. I don't know if it worked. But it certainly shows that if you cut them wrong and they're not symmetrical, it really doesn't matter. So do your fold, your roll and your fold. You can just do a roll and fold, but I think it gives a little bit more definition up here. And when they're cooled, it's a good idea to put them in order as you do them, and then you know you're dealing with the first one first, so they are going to be cool. Covered in hot glue already. Take off your little clamp. Get yourself a marker. It can be any marker at all, a cheap one, anything will do. Just put a nice little bit of pink in there. You can put some pink glitter in, but because I'm using glitter foam, oh, I forgot to mention it was glitter foam. Yep, this is glitter foam. Let's try it with the other side. Ah, there we go. It's faster there. And you don't have to do this. This is completely optional, but I think it just adds a nice little something. Having a bit of pink in there. You can buy this glitter foam individually in places like Hobby Lobby, Hobbycraft in the UK. If you want to get a better bargain, sometimes you're better off going online and buying bulk packs, which is what I did, multicoloured bulk packs. And they work out much cheaper that way. So these petals are now going to be placed around the outside of your little candle light. Tea light, I think they call them. After you've done the first one, it is easier to put the hot glue actually onto the petal. And the good thing about this craft is it's so quick and easy to do that if you get round and you've put them a little bit closer than you actually wanted to, and you run out, which I think is going to happen to me, then you just whip up some more. It'll take you minutes. It really is quick. When all your glue is dry, put a nice piece of lace all around the bottom of the light, or the tea light, just to cover up the joins and the big bulgy bits you can see. Make it look a lot neater. And then turn it over, and where the petal meets the pink bit, give it a push with your thumb, and that'll make it lie down nicely and give it a completely different look. And that is gorgeous. Don't be too worried. And if the worst comes to the worst and one of the petals pops up, it's hot glue. Glue it back on again. But as long as you're gentle but firm, give it a good press and it'll bend down and stay there. Now, I don't know if you've ever bought a bag of these mixed pom-poms and you think, what on earth am I going to do with the tiny ones? This is perfect. I've sorted out some of my white ones because you want them to look like the inside of a flower. And white is going to suit this. You could put pink in to match the pink on the petals, but I think that looks a little bit too much of a big blob of pink in the middle. I think it looks more fun and more, well, I'm not sure what the word would be, more ethereal even, I suppose. Sort of misty look, putting white ones on rather than putting coloured ones on. So there you've got a beautiful flower, and when we turn the switch, look at that, isn't it gorgeous? But we're not finished, we've got more to do. Now we're going to turn this around and you can see the messy bit there. We're going to get that covered. So out with some decorations you like. While I'm doing this, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to all my new subscribers. It's great to have you on board. Let me know in the comments below where you're from. It would be great to know. A bit of fun for everybody to see where everybody else is. As you all know, I'm here in Wales. So you can use any little bits and pieces you've got for this. If you've got little offcuts, they'll be fine. Starting with some new things, you can even take some old decorations apart. And always keep an eye out in thrift stores, charity shops, for picks that are well past their best. They'll be at a very reasonable price, and then you can take them all apart and reassemble them into something beautiful. Now you've decorated the holder part, you need to make that decision. Is this going to sit flat on the table, or do you want a plinth? There are a few different suggestions, or a riser. You can get yourself a yogurt pot type thing. This is a Muller Light. Paint that up white, or whatever colour you want. Gold would look good too. And you could stand it on that. I got this riser thing I picked up. It's like a mini Tatzer from the thrift store. And I could put that on there. And I think the red is actually very nice against the white. So I think I'm going to use that. So attaching it is easy enough. Hot glue. And whatever you're putting it on, stand it on. Try to make it central. It looks a lot better if it's central. And then your tea light, you don't want to glue this into place. This is going to be just slightly fitting in the curtain rings, if your curtain rings are the right size, and it'll balance nicely. And because it's not a naked flame, it is not so important if it did start to wobble a bit or fall off. You're quite safe. So let's turn this on and see if it's going to look good. Oh yes, let's go see what this looks like up on my display. For this craft, I'm going to use a curtain ring, of course, and I'm going to use some of these longer picks, or the longer bits of foliage. Better call it foliage then. It's definitely not foliage. So I'm going to make a lovely little bunch, dangling down as long as I think I need. And they will move about a little bit, probably, when you put them in place, but don't worry about that. These little beads are wired, so I'm going to use these instead of a pipe cleaner and wind them around to hold the bunch nice and firm like that. I'm going to bend these tops of these picks over, and then using a pipe cleaner, attach it to the bottom of the curtain ring like that, and then chop off all your excess ends. Now take your focal point, whatever you've got. I picked these up really cheaply in a thrift store or charity shop a long time ago. I think I may gild that as well. It seems I've got such a lot of gold on here. I think a bit of gold will really bring out all the relief in this. Oh yes, look at that. Definitely, I do like the gold. You don't need a lot. Surprising how far this goes. As you know, the biggest problem I have with this gilding is knowing when to stop. I love it so much, I end up putting too much on. I think it's better like that. And then using hot glue, glue her into position. Find out what position you want this sort of thing in first before you put the glue on. I think I like it lying down. I was going to put it pretty much upright, but I think I like it lying down. Yeah, I'm going to put it on that way. Push them into place. If you put your hot glue on and then you decide, no, I don't like that, it's very difficult to pick all the hot glue back out of all this foliage. And now I just need a hanger. And look at that. It's very glam, isn't it? Oh, I love that. I think she looks much better than I imagined she was going to look. And the golds, and I love the gilding. I think the gilding really does make her look nicer. What do you think? Would you have gilded this or not? Let me know in the comments. Right, let's see what this looks like hanging up. This curtain ring craft, I'm going to use these smaller curtain rings, and you need to take all the hooks out. If they're very tight and you can't open them, or if you've got trouble with your fingers and they don't like little fiddly things, pop a screwdriver through and then you can twist the ring rather than twist the little tiny metal holder. So much easier. Now I've rolled up a piece of this burlap lace and it's just the right size to fit in a curtain ring. And I'm going to do that because these small ones I find are very difficult to actually get to line up. They tend to be very wonky. So I'm going to join the first two together. Like that. And then pop the curtain rings on there. And then I'm going to add to the curtain rings as I go, leaving them in this bit of lace. Be careful not to get a hot glue on your lace, because otherwise you'll have a bit of lace stuck in the middle of your candle holder, which doesn't matter. It's not a problem. It's just you can't get your lace back. And now, if all is well, pull your lace out, and it's a bit straighter than it would have been. I do struggle with getting these things to go straight. If there's a secret to it, if anybody knows the secret to piling your curtain rings up without them being a bit wonky, please let me know. I've got this gold Christmas star here. I did try putting some silver on it once, and I wasn't sure, so I think I'm going to stick with gold for this particular project. So I'm going to give it another run of gold, because this was originally red when I picked it up from the thrift store. So I'm going to give it another going over, because I'm sure I can see little bits of red poking through. There's very little drying time with this paste. And also it's just so easy to put on. Plus it's so tactile and pleasurable to put on. I just love it. That's done. You've got no dirty brushes, but you have got dirty hands. I'm starting to look like an android. I'm so metallic. I've got this floral pick. And I've got a plan for it. But first of all, I'm going to put some gilding on the edges of this to tie it in with the gold on the bottom. In theory, you don't need a lot. So I'm going to try to be reserved and not overdo it, like that. And now for the vicious bit. Brace yourselves. If you're squeamish, look away now. I'm going to pull the middle out, cut across the middle, like that. So you've taken the centre bit out. Now cut across the middle. Bring in your tea light. That is going to be glued over the tea light, like that. You probably need plenty of hot glue, because this is glittery, and glitter doesn't like being glued to anything. Put it in like that and hold it still. Now I'm going to take the end off my stamens, cut them up, glue those in to cover the join. And now it doesn't look like we chopped that flower at all. Let's try the light on. Oh yes, I love a light in the middle of flowers. It's just so pretty. So now that glitter has stuck to my gilding paste, which I think is looking quite nice. Leave it on there. And now we want to glue this to the star. So let's see where it's going to go. Sort of there. And glue it into place. Like that. And you may decide that's all it needs. On the other hand, you may decide to put some ribbon around here. But I'm not going to use ribbon. I'm going to use this glitter foam. I like to cut the edge of this with a pinking shears. It just adds a little bit more prettiness. Cut yourself a strip. And glue it into place at the bottom of the candle. And now all you need to do is turn your candle on. Don't make the mistake of gluing this to your candle holder. That is going to be a disaster, because you're not going to be able to turn it on and off. So whatever you do, don't do that. Now that goes on like that. If you want to do more, you can always try and hold it still. If you want to do more, you can always add some embellishments to the outside. So I had a look, and I've got this little Christmas tree, so I think we'll use this. Cut some of the back off. And then find your ugliest bit of candle holder. I've got glue everywhere on mine. So I'm going to stick it there, I think. I think that's the most gluey bit. And now that's looking superb. Let's see what this looks like up on my display. This Christmas curtain ring craft, I've got 8 curtain rings. You'll need to have an even number for this to work. I've put a little piece of cardboard underneath. It's not going to be used. I want it there to give me the rough idea of a circle, otherwise I'm going to get it very badly wrong. And first thing I'm going to do is glue where all these join to make the basis of the circle. But this hot glue isn't going to be all this is relying on to hold it together. I just want to give it some support as I'm working on it. When I had these pipe cleaners in my haul, I really couldn't think of anything that inspired me to use these yellow and purple ones. But that doesn't matter now because I need them, or I need some invisible pipe cleaner to go between the two of these rings to give them that extra support. I can use them, they're very useful, but the fact that I think they're not the prettiest in the world doesn't matter. There we go, and I'm going to turn it over. And I can feel the movement already. Most of those joints have come apart, but it doesn't matter now. Now get yourself some tinsel. You can use thin tinsel, you can use lace or anything like that, whatever you fancy, but I've decided I'm going to use a thick tinsel. I'm going to push it from the front to the back and then glue it in place. Now you will see half of these bits of pipe cleaner to start with, but don't worry, they'll be gone soon. So work out roughly how much you need and be generous when you cut it, because if you're going to keep trying to put like 2 meters through, you're going to get yourself in a terrible knot. So it comes up through the one and down through the next one. And up through the next one. And down through the next one. And you get the theme. And then when you get to the end, turn it over and glue that end, chop it and glue it into place. And now we need to add some decoration, and the perfect place to put the decoration is over these little bits of pipe cleaner. I've got these stars. I'm going to pull the little hangers off. They're made of polystyrene. I got these again at the after Christmas sale. It's always worth checking out the sales. Even though the things are going to sit for a 12-month, then before you use them, well, about 10 months I suppose, it still is well worth doing. And with these I'm going to take the back bit out. It's a bit of a potch, but it means that I'll have better gluing surface, because one, it'll have no glitter on it, and two, it'll be a bit curvy to go over the top of the pipe cleaner. So a blodge of hot glue and pop it in place. And do the same right over the top of the other 4 pipe cleaners to make sure they're hidden. And now I got these little fluffy picks. I'm going to put them in behind the stars to make them look like shooting stars. So what a way to make a wreath. It really does make a statement for very little. Just a piece of tinsel, 4 little stars and bits of floofs. I always like to put some floofs on my decorations. And you can see enough of the white curtain rings that makes it look like a curtain ring craft, but not overly amateurish. I think that looks fabulous. So let's see what this looks like. Hang it up. Curtain ring project, I'm going to use this smaller pom-pom that I showed you earlier on. You saw how I made the big one, so I won't bore you with showing you how to make the small one again. I'll use this small one. Go to the middle where you've got your little bit of pipe cleaner holding it in place, and you want to open it up so you can see where that divides the 2 sides of the bauble or the pom-pom. And then get yourself a curtain ring and poke the one half through the one side. Don't forget to chop off your ends of your pipe cleaner. And when you're happy that's pretty central, it's probably worth putting a blob of glue in a few places, just to make sure it doesn't go wandering off to the side. Now get yourself some flyaway item. Add some glue to the end of each piece of flyaway and pop it underneath the hanger near the top. It isn't easy to get the angle right on these, because once it's gone under, it tends to do its own thing. I've got these 2, so I'm going to cut them a bit shorter. They're a bit long. I'm going to cut these really short and pop them underneath the join there, one on either side. And make yourself a bow. You don't want it too big, but depending on the size of the decoration that you make, you want it proportional. That's going to be going on there, so roughly cut those to the right size, and then I'm going to dovetail them before I stick them on, and then I can do them both at the same time so I know they're the same size. Fold them in half, cut up to the middle. Now attach the bow near the hanger, and then you'll need something to go over the top, and I got this. I just think this is lovely. It's so over the top blingy. It was a bauble. I cut it in half to use it on a different project. Pull that bit off, that doesn't look very good. And I'm going to glue it on the front of the bow like that. Add a hanger and we're done, and look at that. That was so quick. Admittedly, it'll take you a little longer if you have to make the pom-pom, but they really don't take long at all. And I just love it. Isn't that flamboyant? Isn't that glamorous? Definitely comes under the glam category, that one. Let's see what this looks like hanging up. It looks like it's going to fly away. This next project, I'm going to use this wooden placemat. You can use any placemat, you can use a piece of wood, you can join some tumbling blocks, or you can not put it on a base. I think it'll give it more stability. And the first thing I'm going to do is glue these in place on this piece of cardboard, just to give me some sort of form of where they're going. You want 4 of them in a bit of a curve. You can do this by eye if you're good at that sort of thing. I'm going to slip it onto the placemat and then glue it in place. Now on top of the 4, I'm going to put 3. So I'm going to start by putting the one in the middle there. And then one either side. I was just looking, thinking, oh, I'm doing really well with this glue. I'm not making a mess. And then I realised I didn't have my glasses on. I just put my glasses on thinking, ooh, that's a mess. Most of this hot glue will be hidden anyway because it's going to be on the inside of my little display. Now we're going to put 2 on. Try to remember, and like me, to make sure that any holes from where you've taken the little hooks off are towards the back. And then 1 on the middle, 1 on top. And then I've got this one which is slightly bigger. I like this one because it just gives a slightly snugger fit. Snugger, more snug I suppose. Do that onto the top. And that is the basis of the candle holder. But we're not going to stop there. I've got big plans for this little placemat. I've chosen a couple of nice Christmas trees and I'm going to glue these in place. But rather than put them completely symmetrical, I thought they'd look nice, having different sizes and different amounts either side. So I'm going to put those in place there. Pop on the hot glue, and if you give them a squidge together, they're more likely to stay where you want them to. They sort of interlock all the branches. So that goes there, and I'm going to put this little selection of 3 on the other side. I've got a mousse, so I'm going to put a mousse on. I've got this little wreath, so I'm going to cut the hanger off that. Never discount an ornament because it's a bit scruffy or tatty. You can usually do something to bring it up to scratch. And pop the bow over the front. And it'll look much better. Oh yes, that looks much more expensive. And now I'm going to glue this into place on the front of the candle holder. I think I'm going to use this as an opportunity, crinkle, 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 to use my little couple that I bought, my kissing couple. Tiny bit of hot glue because I'll probably be taking this back off and putting it on something else. And then I can pop my little couple on. I turned the camera off to do a little bit of painting on my pine cones. As you can see, I've painted quite a lot of them. There are a lot there. And I'll just show you on my last one. It's just a dry brush and run over. Now you've got the option, if you want to completely cover your pine cones. Or you could do this with glitter. And you've also got the option, well, you may need to paint this anyway if you've got a very unsuitable placemat that you're using, or if you've got something that you're using a piece of wood and you just want to change the look on it. I was going to paint this white and I put some glitter onto it, but I'm liking the contrast between the green and the brown, so I'm going to leave it as it is, but I am going to make a few little alterations. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to go around the outside, just not even neatly, just to give it a little bit of an edge. I think I'm actually going to do a little bit of dry brushing all over it. This is the thing when we craft. Never feel that your first idea has got to be your last idea and your final draft. Look at this, hot glue everywhere. If at this point I decided, oh no, that really doesn't work, then I could just go right over it with white. But you're not going to see a lot of this, but I just want that contrast. That's why I'm not worrying too much. You can see it is rather haphazard. If it was all going to be seen, I'd have taken a little bit more care. And now out with the hot glue gun, and I'm going to glue these into place. I'm going to just drop these into place. I don't even think they need gluing. I bet most of you heard that saying, less haste, more speed, and that's certainly true. I thought, oh, I won't wash my hands now. I'll get to the end of the project. And because I didn't wash my hands, I got paint all over my little models. So now I've had to wash my hands anyway. Now I'm having to wash my models. Oh, I should have done it in the first place. Now I'm going to add some fake snow right over the top. Give it a bit more of a convincing look, which will all probably fall off when I carry it to my display. But never mind. If you have more time, then you can glue this into place. Just put a layer of glue on. So I love that you've still got a little bit of brown showing through, but I think I needed to put the extra fake snow on as well. Right, all done. Let's go see what this looks like up on my display. Curtain ring craft, I'm going to use some bits and pieces, and I've got these pipe cleaners from that same haul. I got some most amazing pipe cleaners in there, really pretty patterns, and I thought they're very much like candy canes. So I'm going to wrap this curtain ring with some pipe cleaner. You don't need a lot of hot glue with pipe cleaners because they tend to stay put. As if you're doing this with twine or something, which you can do if you've got one of those butcher's twines, you can use that and it'll look just as effective, but you'll need to glue that all the way around. And I like the furry look of the pipe cleaners. Another option with this is you could actually paint it white or get a white curtain ring, and then using some washi tape or masking tape, you could put some red painting stripes all around it, and that would look fun too. Now that is cute all on its own. You could just do quite a selection of pipe cleaner covered curtain rings, and that would be fun, wouldn't it? All different colours and designs. But I'm going to add more. Got these little miniature bells here. I got these for 50p in a thrift store. And I'm going to decorate this wreath with these little bells. I would definitely recommend that you put the glue onto the wreath and then add the bell to the glue. Otherwise, it's going to be really fiddly. You could then add a tinsel pipe cleaner around to make it look like a garland. If I just wind a little bit on. I'm not going to do that because I like this without the garland on, but you may like to put it with it on. All personal taste. I made myself a little two-loop bow with ribbon, but I don't want to put that on. I think I'm just going for this little angel, so I'm going to take the hanger off. She doesn't need a hanger. I do think her wings look a little bit more like the propeller off a helicopter. A little lob of hot glue, and on goes my angel. And how is that for quick, easy, super fun, and so adaptable you can do a million things with it like this, just using variations on the theme. And of course we'll need a hanger. There we go, one hanger. Let's see what this looks like hanging up. This easy curtain ring Christmas craft, I'm going to be using a selection of bits and pieces, and the first thing is this. It used to be for putting little glass votive-y things in for candles, but they were long gone. I picked this up really cheaply from a thrift store, and it's the same with thrift stores, charity shops, anywhere like that. Or you may even be able to pick up bits of wood like this in Hobby Lobby or Hobbycraft, that sort of place. If not, sometimes DIY centres, you can buy a piece of wood and they will cut it for you. Sometimes at a charge, sometimes not. So if you're going to make a couple of these, you could buy a plank. I think this was bamboo, if I show it you. Looks a bit bamboo to me. I got this for 10p, I think it was, in the sale last year. It's a felt Christmas tree. And I want to use a bit of it, but I don't want to use all of it. So I've broken it in half. I'm going to take this little hanger off, but it's got a problem. When you take it in half, it's got this big hole here. But I know that this used to slot into that nicely. So my theory is if I cut up there, we'll find out if this works. It will be much easier if you just get yourself a Christmas tree that doesn't need fiddling with. But if you do get this sort of thing, just want to show you a quick way of fixing it. That should fit neatly in there. And I don't think we've hit perfection, but I think we've hit on near enough. We'll be able to cover some of that with something. We'll figure that out as we're going along. And because this has got little handle shapes on it, I don't want to go right to the end and hang off. But I'll come here, and I think they look like a decorative element, as long as I don't cover over the top of them, because then it does look like they were in the way. Pick which side's got the least glue. Yep, this is the best. Then making sure I cover the join there. Put it down in place, hopefully first time. Now just tiny, tiny bits of hot glue on a few places to make sure the ends don't keep pinging up. We can't be doing with pingy ends. Ow, yes, that's hot. No, I haven't got my finger protectors on. I know, I'm terrible. Right, so that's the tree in, and now we need to do some decorating on the tree. I've got a star. That will cover any problems at the top, like that. There you go, look at that. And remember I said about I had no idea what to use these tiny, tiny bauble things for, or pom-poms? Now I have, and I've run out. Only got 3 left. Now I add my bow. Next, I'm going to take the ends out of my curtain rings. Now to glue them in place. And I worked out that they're going to look best 2 centimetres from the bottom. The next one, and if this works out, it'll be a miracle. For some reason, I can't get measurements to work. I really do my best, and they're still wonky. Should have called myself the clumsy crafter, shouldn't I? And now I've got a Christmas bauble. Poor thing's a bit flat. I don't know what happened to it. And this I'm going to stick into the middle of the centre curtain ring. Doesn't look very central on my camera, but it is central. Then I got a J to go in there. And now can you guess, if you didn't see it on the side, what letter's going in next? A bit of a giveaway. Do you think that says job, jot? No, it says joy. And now I think it needs a little bit of something. If you want it minimalist, I think that's very good for minimalist. But I'm thinking of putting a little bit of balance over this side too. I'm going to shorten these because I just think it looks a lot neater, especially on a smaller project. To just trim them off a bit makes a terrible mess. Out with the hot glue and start decorating the corner. Let me know what you would do in this situation. Would you have decorated this corner or would you have left it plain? Because we've all got our own individual tastes, and I do love to know what everybody else would have done. And also it's great because we can all learn from each other. If you're wondering about what other people would do, then you can check in the comments and see if any brilliant ideas come up. And I know they will, because every week I get suggestions of what I could have done with my projects, and they're brilliant. When it comes to this stage, you can decorate with all those little leftover bits that don't really belong anywhere. You can't think of what on earth you're going to do with them. Keep them all in a container. I've got a box with all my little bits that I haven't used, offcuts, things like that. And then you can do that. And doesn't it make a difference putting something like that on? I just feel now they ought to put something green over here. Oh, what do you think? Let's have a look. Oh, I like that. I think that balances it a little better now. Got green and red here. Green and red with bits of white there. What if we put a bit of white over here? Just give it a check. Make sure you're happy with the placement before you actually glue it into place. Try not to drop it then and get hot glue all over your wood. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Oh, yes. I love that. It's very simple to do. You can put as much or a little effort into it as you want to. You could put some hangers and hang this up. I think this is going to be nice, stood up, just leaning like that. So that's what I'm going to do with it. All right, let's see what this looks like up on my display. So that's the last of my 10 curtain ring Christmas decorations done, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope I've given you some inspiration, whether you're going to make them for yourselves as gifts or to give away. Either way, I'm happy, and I love to know I've inspired you and you've enjoyed your watching. If you have, then please give me a thumbs up, because that tells YouTube then that people are enjoying my content and they show it to more people. It's brilliant. More people will come over and our group will be bigger, and the comments with all the helpful advice in will be more, and we can all grow together and learn together. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you to all my subscribers, all my viewers, everyone who leaves a comment. I really appreciate you all. Right, time to go. So I'll see you all next time, but until then, don't forget, happy crafting and have fun. Bye!